Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So we're live, we're triple streaming. Remember, we're on YouTube, we're on X, and we're on TikTok. Listen, before we start, if the live feed goes on, TikTok, just go over to YouTube. I get restricted quite a lot, guys. You know, I'm getting restricted absolutely loads at the moment. So if the live feed goes on TikTok, I am triple streaming. All these videos are. And all these videos are uploaded to YouTube as well. Listen, guys, I want to talk about a few things that I've been noticed. There have been Daniel Payne's saying it there in the chat. So right, there was a council office burnt down in the United Kingdom, I think last night or the night before. I'm going to focus on that because it's one of the things I've been talking about in the United Kingdom. Now, the reason I've been saying this is coming, it's not because I've got it's not because I've got a magic ball. I've actually got an 8-ball, and I'll be honest with you guys, it's not that accurate. It's not because I've got like some sort of prophetic knowledge or anything. It's just literally, I understand, and I lived through the troubles in Northern Ireland when I was in the military. I think I did maybe 5 operational tours in Northern Ireland. So I understand, and you get taught things and you get taught history. And like I always say, guys, those who are doomed to, those who forget, those who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it. So I want to take a moment now, guys, and talk about this arson attack on, I believe her name is Sharon Hodgson. Sorry, Sharon Hodgson. She is the Labour MP for Washington and Gateshead in the Northeast. Now, this was overnight on the 10th of September, and obviously because of what happened in the United States, it didn't get much media. It didn't get much media coverage. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, it happened. A blaze ripped through her office in, I believe it was in Washington, and that pretty much destroyed the whole of the building. So, and that included spaces used like by local charities. No one was hurt, thankfully. But a man in his 20s was arrested nearby on suspicion of arson and criminal damage. Now, the police also found graffiti scrawled on the wall saying 328 days, blood on your hand, which is clearly, you know, a reference to something. Now, I don't know what that reference is, but, you know, I don't know. Now, this comes after more vandalism at the same office, including smashed windows, you know, showing a worrying pattern of escalation. And this is what I want to focus on now, guys, this pattern of escalation. Look, nobody, like, unless you're insane, you know, unless you're insane or under 8 years old, nobody can say that we are, the West in general, and I'm talking about Europe, I'm talking about obviously the United Kingdom, I'm talking about Ireland, I'm talking about the United States. We are in an absolutely fractured society right now. What happened on the 10th of September in the United States, to me, it's identified how bad the situation is. I thought everyone was like me, guys. I did. I thought other people were like me. And I thought, right, these other people who are just have a different opinion of me, I genuinely believe that they're just like me. You know, they want everybody to be happy. They want to go into space. They want to, you know, they want to have exploration. They don't want to see wars in the world. You know, I thought everybody on this planet was like me. This has been a wake-up call for me. This has been an absolute wake-up call for me. The amount of people and evil that's been shown on the internet. Now, I think, was it Martin Luther King who says evil only begets evil? So right now we're getting a lot of evil from the left, and that's going to be met with, you know, the counter force from the right. So let's talk about this. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at the comments. Right, I'll come on to the comments now on TikTok actually, and then we'll continue because I can see the comments going, and I just want to get the comments now. I'm going to jump up to the top. So I'm on. I'm going to go for the TikTok comments. Kasim's joining. Paige, Oliver, hello. Right, I'm just going to come down to the comments actually because I've got quite a lot I want to get through. Daniel Payne is saying, morning, Raven. Good morning to you. Daniel Payne is saying, what's good in the hood? Nothing. I don't feel nothing good's coming. Olivia is saying, I feel tired today. Did the school run? Now I'm back in bed. Paige, get up. Come on, you don't get another chance at today. Get up, Paige. Do something productive. Do something that's going to serve you, whether that's going to the gym. I don't know. Do something always that is going to serve you. Do something that will make your life better. Do something that will help you. Maybe laid in bed's the answer. I don't think it is. I think you should get up, Paige. I think you should get up and be productive. Daniel Page is saying it's all right for some people. All right, okay, they're just talking. It's a day off, so she's spending the event. Right, Daniel Payne is saying what council offices have been burned. So look, I do want to focus this morning's live stream on what's happening in the United Kingdom. Of course, we've got this ongoing manhunt in the United States. I do think, I don't know, I think the internet's found. I'm going to say I think the internet found him. I do. I think the internet's found the. I think the internet's found the guy. Obviously, I don't want to say the internet have found the guy, but I saw an image or a video of a guy debating with Charlie, and then then somebody's done a side by side of the guy jumping off the roof, and you're like, yeah. I mean, like. Yeah, I can't say that's not the same guy. I certainly can't say it is the same guy, but it certainly looks like him. So Daniel Payne, the council office that was burnt down in the United Kingdom on the 10th, obviously didn't get any media attention because what happened in the United States was the Labour council office in the northeast. And I'm going to be talking about that more. Sharon Owen is saying good morning. D. Marie J X is saying good morning. So is Jodie Lee. Martin Quinn is saying Sky. Yeah. So Martin Quinn here is putting a name up there. I'm not going to repeat that name because I don't want to. I don't want to like it. Incriminate anyone if it's not him, but Martin Quinn's put a name up there, and that's the name that I'm getting as well. It's very difficult to see that this is not the guy. I don't know. Maybe it is him. Maybe it isn't. I guess time will tell. Sharon Owen is saying, Sean, do you think the guy who took out Charlie Kirk was a college kid or military? Okay, my initial thoughts on this was that this was a professional. Single shot bolt action rifle, and the fact that you just can't, he just vanished. It does look like they're closing in this search now, and it does look like there's a name being released. And look, guys, this wasn't the FBI finding this. This was literally the internet that found this. So I genuinely don't know. My initial thoughts were this was a professional strike. I mean, it was a professional strike in the context that the person definitely knew what he was doing with a rifle, 100%. There's no denying that. We've got all these conspiracies about these hand signals behind him. I'm just like, I looked at the guy doing the hand signals behind Charlie. And like I do that all the time. If you've just been to the gym and you're stretched and like what your shoulders are sore, you'll do that. You'll do this thing. Remember that, guys. Look, guys, I'm not saying there's nothing in it. I'm just saying, like, I don't think there's anything in it, because if you're standing there behind Charlie, you might have been there for a couple of hours or whatever. He stood there, his body's starting to slow down. You would expect that so that person behind him would have been Charlie's PPO, which is personal protection officer. Now, a personal protection officer, what their roles and responsibility is to get that person out as quickly as possible into the vehicle. Now, behind the scenes, which what you saw in the video, you would have had somebody in the vehicle with the engine running, hopefully. You would have then had, I don't know how big Charlie's security team was, but you would have had at least two vehicles. Well, I don't know how big his security team was, but you would expect to have a minimum of PPO, which would be personal protection officer, which is the guy who was, stretching. And that's all I think it was, guys. I think he was just stretching from the gym. I really do. That's all I think it was. Then you would have people in a vehicle. You would have people just stood on the outside covering the entry points, and just people around on the peripherals on radio talking to each other. And then if the team leader of that security team is like I don't know, Dave or Raven, whatever his name is, they'd be like, yeah, Dave or whatever, can you get Charlie out now, mate? And then he will just say, right, Charlie, we've got to go, and then Charlie would go. That is that simple. So I don't see anything in these guys stretching. I really don't, guys. I don't know. I've not got enough information on. I've not got any inside information other than what's being released. But there has been a name released, and you guys have got it here in the chat, 100%. Yeah, Martin Quinn is saying the guy they are looking at, military training and in the shooting club. He has now fled the scene. As we all fall to move tonight, gossip is all over the media. Yeah, look, guys, I do think the internet have got a very strong likelihood of this person. It's very difficult to say that that is not the guy that's on the video. Now, I've not got access to the FBI files. I've not got access to anything. All I've got is the same information as you, and I'm making the same assumptions as you, that those two people, if it's not the same person, they are literal twins. That's all I'm going to go on that, guys. All right. So let's continue, because we do have. So Martin Quinn is saying, does that mean we all share the reward? I think 4chan put that up first. I think that came from 4chan. Anyway, look, guys, I want to focus on what's happening in the United Kingdom right now. Oh, just Zoe Dean. Yeah. Zoe Dean here on, in fact, let me do it. Zoe Dean here has got 2 comments. I'm just going to pin these on YouTube because they've just stuck out at me. Zoe Dean is saying the amount of evil in the world right now is concerning. Absolutely. And that's like, we should understand this moving forwards. And we should go back to something I've previously said, which is, well, I always say it. Avoid wars at all costs. If you're in a war, win at all costs. Zoe Dean is saying the amount of evil in the world right now is very concerning. And then she's saying the man with the megaphone. Yeah, it's just absolutely sickening. And my stomach curdled. My stomach curdled when I saw that guy with the microphone and he's laughing. He's laughing. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's sickening. I don't even have words to explain it. And I'll come on to words in a minute. Let me take that one down. Oh, and then Matt is saying, Charlie doesn't have security. I would say he does. The gentleman who got, well, he certainly had a security team with him on that. He certainly had a security team with him on that day. So the guys in black t-shirts and cargo pants who got him from the stage to the vehicle and gone, they were definitely a security team. So I don't know if they were specific security for that day or I don't know, but they were definitely a security team. Lord of Langwich just subscribed. Thank you, Lord of Langwich, for your subscription. Right, guys, I'm going to continue because I have got another article to get through as well. Sorry. But let's be clear, guys, all right? The escalation happening right now in the United Kingdom is not an isolated incident. I'm talking about the Labour office that was set on fire on the 10th of September. Obviously, this got no media coverage because what happened in the United States, it still happened. So this is an echo of how things spiraled during the Troubles in Northern Ireland. So back in the 60s and 70s, and I know this sounds wild, guys. All right, well, it's not wild. I know this sounds. Just go with me, guys. All right, go. Just hear me out. Hear me out, okay? Back in the late 60s, I guess, and 70s, sectarian tensions boiled over into civil unrest. Politicians became targets of violence. And this happened in the 60s and 70s in Northern Ireland and in the United Kingdom, I guess. So we already know it happens. We already know what leads towards this. And it's unbelievable how the government seem to be pushing for this, They really do. They seem to be. They seem to be pushing for this. So there's lots of incidents. IRA car bombs in House of Commons in I think 79 was the first big one. There was a Tory MP assassinated on his driveway in 1990. I think it was. And what started as low what started as protests and low-level harassment, vandalism. You're seeing the pattern here, guys. Are you starting to do pattern recognition? And it's not difficult, all right? It's not difficult to do pattern recognition when you have a little bit of cognitive brain cells, all right? This is the absolute reality now, guys, all right, of the situation in the United Kingdom and where it's going to escalate to. Thank you, Danny Boy, for becoming a subscriber. 19 months, Danny Boy. I didn't realize I'd been on the internet 19 months. Thank you so much, Danny Boy, for your subscription. So, sorry, guys. Obviously, well, not obviously, 79, I think, was the first big, Conservative Shadow Home Secretary was blown up by a car bomb in the House of Commons, 1979. That happened, I'm not making that up. There was another Tory MP assassinated in his driveway in 1990. Now, this all starts, ladies and gentlemen, and again, it's just, how I've been saying that this is coming? Like all the time, I'm saying, look, this is coming. Look at that over there. That's going to lead to that. And then it does. This all started by low-level protests that escalate into bigger protests, that escalate into riots, that then, because those protests and riots, nobody listens and and people think they're not being listened to, that turns into low-level harassment. Low-level harassment turns into vandalism. Vandalism turns to threat. Threat turns into intimidation. And it quickly escalates. Bombings, sniper attacks, assassinations. Look what we've just seen in the United States, So this happens. And this is happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. I was warning of this a long time ago. So what I'm saying right now is we are starting to see the beginnings of this. So again, like I said, we're going to get through the summer. People are going to realize that the protests, the marchers, going down to London, waving the flags, it's achieved nothing. Because there's still going to be migrant hotels. There's still going to be people coming. There's still going to be money for migrants. No money for old age people, and that is coming. I'm not doing it. I'm telling you guys what's coming in the future. I've got no crystal ball. Like I say, I've got an 8 ball and it's not that accurate. So these MPs, they represent the frustration and that system that is not working. So when you have thousands of people on the street saying, we want no immigration, and the MPs saying, yes, more immigration, and the people are saying, no, we don't want any more immigration, and the MPs and people in power are saying, yes, more immigration. And people are saying, hang on a minute, are you actually listening to me right now? We're the people. We don't want this in our country right now. We want to go back to old school. We just want to be left alone. We want to work. We want to pay our taxes. We want to raise our children. We want to learn them how to ride a bike. We don't want this that's being forced on us. I want my girls to be able to walk to the shop without being absolutely terrified that they're not coming back. Does that make me a racist? Does that make me a non-progressive because I'm worried about that? I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach and not be terrified about people looking at the girls in their little bikinis. Does that make me a bad person? Am I not woke enough for that? Well, do you know what? We've seen wokeness exposed. We've seen it exposed. And do you know what, guys? I'm pretty happy that I'm not woke. But sorry, I'm saying here, this is where we're heading right now, guys. Okay, because the members of Parliament, the decision makers on both sides now, they're both going to be targeted. These officers were hit because they represent that system of failure that's not representing the people. And look, guys, we've seen this start now. I'll get it up in a minute on the what the mainstream are reporting, but we've seen it now in the United Kingdom. Council officers burnt down. That is the reality now, guys. Council officers in the United Kingdom have been burnt down. This is how it starts. And for those people in government thinking that this wasn't going to happen, or thinking that they can arrest people, thinking they can arrest their way out of this. There was a 20-year-old. Look, guys, and I'm just giving you what the information is on the mainstream media. I don't know if this guy is guilty. There was a 20-year-old arrested nearby on suspicion of arson and criminal damage. Now, like I always say, if those people who live in that local area are operating individually, operating in groups of 2, 4, they don't have outside influence. There's not some big, commanding general saying, cell 24, strike. You can't stop it. You can't stop it, guys. And this is a thing that's happening. I've been talking about it. I've been warning about it. And it's here now. It's here. You can see it. Now, this is exactly how destabilization creeps in. And this is going to lead to the Americanization of the United Kingdom. The Americans are going to come over and they're going to take over, but it's not yet. And things are going to get worse before they get better. So when a country or community look, guys, tell me if I'm wrong. Please put it in if you think I'm wrong, please put it in the chat, okay? When a country, I guess, or a community, whichever side of this argument you're on, all right? And again, look, guys, I'm open to all opinions here, and I'm trying to speak for all opinions. When a country or community starts seeing elected representatives targeted over these hot issues, foreign policy, Ukraine, Gaza, immigration, equality, it further erodes trust in that democratic system itself. And when you don't have trust, and when you have fear and you lose trust, it's all part of polarization. So it's us and them, which is what it is right now, guys. So it polarizes us further, and it invites more chaos. I think it was Martin Luther King who said, "Violence only begets violence," which he's right. But that invites more chaos. More chaos invites more chaos. Oh, look what they did to us. Let's do this back to them. Oh, look what they did to them. Look what we're going to do this to them. And this is what it is, guys. Okay. And this happened in Northern Ireland, where civil rights marchers, nobody cared. They turned into riots, right? Riots turned into low-level harassment. Low-level harassment turned into vandalism. Vandalism to threats. Threats to intimidation. Soon you've got car bombs, assassinations, and all sorts of crazy stuff happening. And look, guys, I just want to stop, calm everyone down, and build spaceships. Really? That's what I want to do. I want to say, right, stop. Can we not just build spaceships? Wouldn't that be a better future? Wouldn't that be a better direction of travel? Anyway, so if you ignore these warning signs, like the government are literally, look, guys, I don't think they're ignoring them. I actually think the government look, there's some very smart people in the government, and I don't believe they're doing this non-intentionally. I can't say well, you know what, maybe they are. Always go with cock up rather than conspiracy. I just don't see how the government can't be seeing. I just don't see how how the government can't see what's right in front of them. Look, the British government, we're experts on Northern Ireland. We really are. All that information's there. We can look back at everything as case studies. But, where civil rights marchers, they turn into riots, you have huge areas in the United Kingdom like Harhills, places in Bradford, that just don't identify as British. This is when you start to see the foundations of a civil war. We're not there yet, but we're moving there at an alarming rate, ladies and gentlemen, right? And ignoring these warning signs, which I don't know if the government are ignoring them, or I don't know if they're just not seeing them, or whether they're purposely fanning the flames themselves. I don't know, but that is the direction we're heading to right now, guys. And you can see it right there in front of everyone. Mr. Freeze on YouTube is saying, no one wants to admit that our military boys, including the top military boys, Big Cheese, are literally positively committing treason. You're scared of the reality. You should be shunned when on leave. They should be shunned when on leave. I don't know what that means, Mr. Freeze. I don't think at unit level. I don't think at unit level the military are compliant in this. I really don't. Nympharanda on YouTube is saying my granddaughter was so scared when that alarm went off. She thought it meant we're going to war. A miscommunication in school teaching and a lockdown practice. How do you explain to a 7-year-old really? I don't know to a 7. It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. I mean, you want to give your kids the right information, but you don't want to scare them. It's difficult. I guess each circumstance is going to be different. Hang on. Right, I'm gonna get the chat on TikTok, guys. Wow, loads of chat on TikTok. Right, wow, this is crackers. I may not. Right, guys, the TikTok chat has gone crackers. Martin Quinn is saying the guy they're looking for is military trained and he's part of a shooting club. He has now fled the scene. We failed to move tonight. Do we mean we all share the reward? And that's why AI Atlas is coming down to Earth to soar and smack all our bums. Sharon Owen is saying, I think Starmer's time is up. Not a chance. They are moving the chess pieces into place with Mandelson. I don't think Starmer's going, Sharon. I think he's going to be here for a long time. He is a massive part of that establishment. Snowdrops is saying he must do as he wears a bulletproof vest, so he must have been worried about his safety. Yeah, he definitely had a vest on. Linda Lou is saying that's me. That MP in the 70s killed by the IRA. Laurie C is saying good morning to you, Laurie C. Danny Boy is saying I think there is something strange about the Charlie Kirk incident because look at the army signals. I don't know what that means. The arm, right? Okay, yeah. Look, so Danny Boy is saying about the signals of the man behind. Look, I don't know. Look, I've taken long range. I mean, that wasn't a long range shot. Look, there's a lot of experts on the internet at the moment talking about ballistics and saying, oh, look at this. You can't tell anything. You can't tell anything, nothing. If you're taking a shot, that guy will have been under a lot of pressure. If you're taking a shot, you're not looking at the guy behind to say, yes, do it. So I don't see anything in that. He does something like this. And genuinely, when I'm looking at him, I think he's just stretching his arm. He clearly goes to the gym. And I just think he's stretching his arms. I don't see. Look, maybe I'm wrong. I don't see anything in it. Lord of Language is saying either it blows up here or in the US, then watch Russia and China take advantage. I think we're looking for a US takeover. I really do. Martin Quinn is saying it makes you a father. Yeah, I mean, look, if you live in the United Kingdom right now, you are pretty much, you're pretty much just scared of your girls. Linda Lou is saying for every person arrested, there'll be 20 more to take their place. Kaz is saying, morning, have I missed much? Oh, you have, Kaz, you have, but I'm gonna give a recap in a minute. The guy in the black behind Charlie Kirk is the same guy as the Trump incident? Really? I mean, I don't know what to take of that. I don't know if it is, first of all, and I'm not saying it's not, Danny Boy. I'm just saying I'm hearing this for the first time. If it is the case, again, I wouldn't see anything into that. That guy on that security services for Trump, he obviously did a good job, and he's obviously a trusted guy. So Charlie Kirk's going to hire him. And I don't know, guys. I'm just the real. I guess I think this was a professional hit. I don't think anyone else was involved, and the less people you have involved, the more likely of success it is. Coral Reefin is saying, "Hi mate, I hope you're good. I am indeed. Russia are clearly winning the information war. Yeah." Russia were winning the information war before we even knew that there was an information war. And that's one of the things that we are massively on the back foot with. We are massively on the back foot with the information war here in the West. And I would say Russia was winning that information war before we even knew that there was a battlefield. And Corey Reefen's also saying, I bet most of these lefty twisted evil profiles are Russian bots. I've seen a lot of videos of real people and, you know, real people saying really sick things. You know, is it the head of Cambridge? Is it the like president of the student union or something in Cambridge? Like who is he with his dreadlocks and his little do-rag? Like, who is he? Who elected him? And why am I looking at his face? I don't know. Did someone just subscribe? Did someone just subscribe? I don't know. I don't know if someone just subscribed. Anyway, let me get these comments, guys. Sorry. Lord of Language is saying, hasn't been trust in politics for years. That's why voters' turnout is never high. No, it's not. But you know what? It is high. It's massively high in the Muslim community. Their block vote is phenomenal. Kaz is saying tap tap tap. Martin Quinn is saying, I've got friends in Bradford, and when you go to Bradford, there are no white zones. Yeah, so you know this just builds onto what I've been saying about the. I'll repeat it in a minute, actually, guys. You know about the segregation in the United Kingdom and how we are. And how we're walking into, we're walking either with our eyes closed or wide open. And each of those scenarios is equally terrifying. Martin Quinn is also saying they have their own Muslim security walking around. It's embarrassing. Well, listen, I mean, at least they're safe. I always wind them up when I go over. They are very violent people if you don't move for them. Sean McKay is saying, I'm sure they've seen it and want mass carnage. For what reason, though? Can't just forbid some. Yeah, so Sean McKay here is seeing the footprints. Well, seeing the petal drops, I guess. Just pin this comment here. Sean McKay is saying, I'm sure the government, you know, have seen it and they actually want mass carnage. Well, you're not going to get a United States takeover of the UK if everything's peaceful and we're all happy. So you need that carnage, you need that, you need that destabilization to accept a US takeover. Gene Prothrow is saying, what have I missed? Listen, Gene Prothrow, I've been talking about the chilling similarities between what's happening right now in the United Kingdom and how the trouble started in Northern Ireland in the 60s and 70s. And you can't not see those parallels running side by side and the literal identical, the same timelines. Kaz is saying, if the guy in the back is the same guy, he could be Secret Service provided by Trump. So Charlie Kirk wouldn't have qualified for Secret Service. That's only for US officials. Mike Quinn is saying somebody offered him some money at the shooter club because he was a loner, and look what happened. I don't know, guys. I don't know what's happened. I think the Trump was staged as well to get votes. I don't know, guys. Look, I will always try and look for the explanation without conspiracy, without these conspiracies. Like to shoot Donald Trump's ear. I don't know, guys. I'm not seeing I'm just not seeing it. I don't know. There's too much that could go wrong. Snowdrops is saying, yes, he debated Charlie Kirk. He did. Sean, any more information on Poland and Article 4? That is the decision today. Yeah. So the meeting's today, Jody. Let me pin this actually. So the meeting is today. The meeting's today about Article 4. So the NATO meeting with regards to Article 4 it is today. There may or may not be a press briefing afterwards saying what they've agreed to, but I think what they will agree to will be secret because they're not going to want the bad guys, I guess, in this context. You know, they're not going to want the bad guys to know. Oh, right, Poland have agreed to this, so we're just going to do this, and then that doesn't fall into that remit. So I don't think they're going to publicize what has been released. Daniel Payne is saying, so Raven, you made that sound like the government want a US takeover. I think they do, Danny boy. I think a US takeover is 100% coming. If you look at what's happening, forget what people are saying, look at what's happening, you know, make your own conclusions. You know, we have just talked through then, and you know, if you guys are, in fact, you know what, guys, I don't do this enough. If you're watching, can you hit that like button, the follow, the subscribe, if you're whatever platform you're watching on, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on X, or whether you're watching on TikTok, can you hit those things, guys? It really helps me out when you do that. If you're watching on TikTok, I think they're up here. If you're watching on YouTube, they're down here somewhere. And if you're watching on X, I don't know where they are on X. I've only really just started posting on X. So Danny, I'm going to pin this because this is really relevant. So Danny Boy is saying, so Raven, you made that sound like the government wants a United States takeover. I'm just presenting you guys the evidence. All right, I'm presenting you guys the evidence that historically, when you historically, and here in the United Kingdom, we have got a lot of knowledge of this, and we have got a lot of case studies looking back from the 60s and 70s about what happened in Northern Ireland. We have like loads of information on that. So what happens is, you get people who are unhappy about something. It doesn't really matter what it is. Protests turn to riots. Those riots turn to low-level harassment, which turns to vandalism, which turns to threat, which turns to intimidation. Which turns, ultimately, at the far end of this, these things escalate into sniper attacks. Roadside bombs. This is what we've seen in the United Kingdom from Northern Ireland. That's what happened. Right now in the United Kingdom, we are seeing the exact same path to where a Labour office now has been burnt down in the northeast of England with a chilling. What did it say? Something days of blood written on the side of the wall. So you can literally see it now. You can see it, and nobody can deny it's not happening because it's there. It's fine, if people want to call me out and say, oh, Sean, you're scaremongering. But when that thing I said would happen happens, you're like, oh, yeah, well, yeah, that's not scaremongering now because that's happened. Yeah, I'll tell you where this is going. I'll tell you where the next thing's going. This is gonna escalate. More people are going to start to do this. And those divisional lines and that destabilization, that's how it creeps in. That really is how it creeps in, guys. So the comment from Daniel, hang on, let me find it again. The comment from Danny Boy was, you made it sound like the government wants a US takeover. They either want a US takeover or they're the most incompetent bunch of people I've ever met. And somebody's pushing for a US takeover, so it's totally up to you guys what you take of that. But 100%, I feel a US takeover is coming. Danny Boy is saying, plus the blood from an artery is bright red, not dark. No, that was real blood. That was real blood. Kaz is saying Northern Ireland has a kaboom scare every day for the past 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, this is coming to the UK, guys. Kaz is saying, do you think Article 4 will automatically lead to Article 5? No. Article 4 is more dangerous than Article 5, guys. I did a live stream on it. I think yesterday I talked about how Article 4, in my opinion, which, I think my opinion's right. In my opinion and my understanding of this, Article 4 actually tells you that you can do something. Article 5 doesn't. All Article 5 says is we're all stand together and we'll do something. Article 4 actually says, right, this is what we're going to do if that happens. So Article 4, once you've agreed on the, once you've agreed on the particulars in Article 4, you don't need Article 5. Article 5 is irrelevant. And I've always said this, guys, Article 5 is irrelevant. Martin Quinn is saying, how did the department work in pension speech have a union, Jack, a George's cross, and I don't know. I don't know how that happened. There was an American flag behind them when they were talking the British government. I don't know. Historically, United Kingdom tried to take over America. Well, do you know what? Who knows? Maybe this is just a sleight of hand. Maybe this is just the way that, the United Kingdom can take over the United States, but we're doing it through the back door. Don't laugh, any of you military guys. Oh, sorry, Danny boy. It was Daniel Payne that said, sorry, Danny boy. I got you guys mixed up. Sean McKay saying, my partner found out today in Chester, drummed it in, stay alert, don't turn your back. What? My partner's out, all right, for the day in Chester today, drummed it in, stay alert, don't turn your back on people. Yeah, absolutely, just be vigilant. And this goes to if you're going down to the, protest on, it's tomorrow, isn't it? If you're going down to the protest tomorrow in London, just be vigilant, guys. I would say that the alert state, the threat state has absolutely gone up. So I'm going to continue about the processes that are happening right now. You guys can see them. So, how do you stand up? What do people do now? Do you support your local MPs? Do we stand united? Do we report threats, support our MPs, demand better security? There's going to have to be a lot of decisions made in the near future, because this is going to keep going, guys. This really is going to keep going, and it's exactly how this form of destabilization just creeps in. When people feel that nobody's listening to them, your represented leaders who you voted for example, we voted for Keir Starmer. Well, I didn't, but people voted for Keir Starmer because he was going to do X, Y, and Z. He literally got in. Wow, that sun is bright. The sun is bright. The sun is bright today, ladies and gentlemen. And so Keir Starmer basically got in by. Do you think, am I fair by saying he lied in his manifesto? Would I be fair in saying that? Would I be fair? I don't know. I think I'd be fair saying that. So kind of doesn't matter. I'll give a hypothetical scenario. So when we vote for people because they say they're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then they don't, and then I could argue since 2016, we have been voting in the United Kingdom for less migration. Every vote in the United Kingdom, we have actually been voting for less migration. And there's lots of other issues. I'm using migration as it's easy to quantify, and it's easy to visualize, I guess. Since 2016, we have been voting each and every time for less immigration. And immigration has just been going up. So, when you get these politicians and they say, we're going to stop, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then when those representatives don't do it, people protest. When those protests have no effect because, and guys, look, I've said this a million times. These protests, if you're going down to London, good luck, be vigilant, be safe, don't get drunk. They're not going to change anything. Because the people in charge, they're like, oh, yeah, people are angry, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, we're not bothered about them. We're in for another 4 years. So this is how it starts. Because as we've seen, I will read you the article in a minute. As we've seen now, Labour offices being burnt down. And this is how it starts, guys, right? When people lose trust in their elected officials, over whatever policies that is, whether it's the war in Ukraine, whether it's what's happening in the Middle East, whether it's immigration, inequality, human rights, gay rights, black rights, trans rights, kind of doesn't matter. Because when people lose trust and these incidents escalate and become more often, then that's polarizing people, because people will say, oh, look at them, they burned down the Labour office. Right, we're going to go and burn down the Reform office. Oh, they burnt down the Reform office and they injured someone. Right, we're gonna go over there and do this. We did this. Right, oh, right, we're going to... Literally, guys, the word escalation, there's no better word to describe it. Absolutely no better word to describe it. Ultimately, people will find that protests will turn to riots. Riots will turn to low-level harassment and vandalism and threats and intimidation. And then that will obviously naturally turn nasty. And if you look at the incidents in 1970s, in the 60s and 70s, I think 69 was the first incident. It might be 79 actually. I can't remember. There was an MP blown up in the House of Commons, in the car park for House of Commons in 1979, and there was an MP assassinated on his drive. I actually remember this. Was actually assassinated on his driveway in 1990. So there's historic precedence here of people targeting the politicians. And you know what else, ladies and gentlemen? Look back through my videos. I've been saying this is coming. I'm just going to read you now the headline from the Labour MP. So and then it comes out on the 10th of 2 days ago, on the 10th of September. Labour MP's office hit by arson attack as vandals leave behind message. MP's constituency office has been targeted by arsonists overnight, prompting the police to launch an investigation. And as I understand it now, there's a 20-year-old suspect in custody on suspicion of arson and vandalism. So that's what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you like it or not, whether you like it or not, it's coming. Right, let me get the rest of these comments and then I'll start to close this chat down on TikTok, and then we'll move over to YouTube. Kaz is saying the UK is slowly becoming the Wild West. It is indeed, although we don't have firearms like they do in the United States. So again, one of the things I've been saying, we are heading towards sword and sandals, pitched battles in the United Kingdom, and that is absolutely coming. Dee Marie is saying, I'm a tad anxious. I'm taking my kids over Arena in Glasgow next weekend. So Dee Marie, what I'd say with safety, if you're going to one of those big arenas, try and leave early. I know that's not always possible with kids, but try and leave early, because when you're going into an arena, the security is massive. You go in, you have to show your tickets. You have to go through one at a time. There's a ticket. There's a ticket. There's a ticket. When you're leaving that arena, it's just a free for all. It's just like out, quick. We want to tidy up. So what I'd say to you, and again, I don't know your situation. I don't know what's happening. What I would say is, Dee Marie Gen X, my advice would be, if you can, leave early. Or if you can't leave early, wait right till the end. But that's going to be a massive faff waiting right till the end. Sharon Owen is saying there's more footage released on BBC of the guy leaving the college. Yeah, are we talking about more about the guy? So the guy jumped off the roof. And look, guys, there's a lot of commentators talking about, oh, he's not professional because he used the roof and he skylined himself. You have to take that shot from somewhere. Now, if you're a sniper and you're shooting from a building, you want to be back in that building. You want to be in the shadows of that building, so like nobody can see anything. The problem with that in a populated area is, as soon as you pull that trigger, everybody in that building is going to know that somebody fired around from inside there. So you come out of that door, there could be people who see you, there could be people who apprehend you. If you do it from the roof, you know, if you do it from the roof, you literally run off and jump down. That's you gone. There was footage of this guy, there was footage of this alleged guy limping through a housing estate before the incident. He's not limping, guys. He's got his rifle down his trousers. And once you zero a rifle, if you take the scope off that rifle, when you put it back on, the zero's gone. So you have to zero it again. So what I would say he's doing is he's got the barrel and the scope down his trousers, and he's trying to maintain. Sorry guys, the sun is ridiculous. Let me try and close this window. Curtain. No, I don't think that's done anything. It's took the edge off it. So that's what I think was happening. So you've seen the footage of this guy walking through a housing estate or whatever. I think it's on like a Ring doorbell or something, and he's like limping. To me, anyway, that's his. He's got the barrel of his rifle in his sight, and he doesn't want to collapse them because he doesn't want to lose a zero on his sight. Obviously, once he's taken the shot, doesn't really matter anymore. So he's collapsed it and put it in his backpack. Kaz is saying, my sister and nephew fly to Birmingham tomorrow morning for the karate competition. Yeah, I would say that's fine. Nobody really wants to, nobody really wants to attack a karate competition. They might get kicked. Lulswell is saying, hi. Kaz is saying, I'm hoping tomorrow passes peacefully in London. Yeah, me too. I just think the threat state has gone up. God, that sun is ridiculously bright. I've not seen anything that's like a smoking gun. I'm just saying with what's happening in the world right now, that does seem a relative strike point. Sean McKay is saying that shot tells you he knows his poo, temperature, trajectory, or whatever else. He was only like, I think he was only 130. I think they've worked out he was only 100. Guys, I do apologize about that sun. I need to get a blackout curtain up there. He was only 130 meters away from that, away from him. So that's not a particularly difficult shot to make. The stress factor comes with that. There's a lot of there'll be a lot of stress on that shooter. Kaz is saying, am I the only person who thinks it's freezing this morning? No, the girls thought it was cold this morning when they went to school. Sharon Owen is saying there's loads of vicars in the House of Lords debating the end of life bill. Isn't the end of life bill fascinating? Isn't it fascinating? Is it right? Okay, here's the thing, right? Here we go. So I'm going to pin this and I'm going to talk about this. So thank you for this, Sharon. I just thought of something. So Sharon on TikTok is saying there's a load of vicars in the House of Lords debating the end of life bill. Now, how many times have I said to you, giving you the example, if in the United Kingdom they pass the law, you guys know what I'm going to say, right? If in the United Kingdom they pass the law where everybody's firstborn child had to be given to the government and you never saw that child again, like that would be law and the police would be obliged to enforce that law, and we have no legal mechanism to oppose that. I've said it a lot of times. I know I have. Now, look what Sharon Owen's saying here. So keep that in the back of your mind, guys, or in the front. Sharon Owen is saying there's loads of vicars in House of Commons debating the end of life bill. So now we have a situation where, let's just say, if people are terminally ill, whatever, a law is passed that if they're terminally ill, doctors can go in and pass them. I'm on the algorithm, guys. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right. Yeah. Let's just say that happens and everybody's like, you know what? Yeah. If people are terminally ill, It's absolutely, yeah, do you know what? People are terminally ill. We're going to stop their suffering. We're going to stop this. Yeah, do you know what? It's fantastic. It's a brilliant idea. Okay, that's fine. In a year, next year, they change the definition to what term, I mean, we're all terminally ill. In the next year, they change the definition of terminally ill to somebody who's X, Y, and Z. But that happens under the radar. That's just a little terminology change. That happens under the radar. The next thing we know, we think, hang on a minute, did I just hear that right? When you're 65, you have to go to this special room and you never come out. Like you're transcending into a beam of light. Yeah, that's just the law. That's just the law. Oh, all right, yeah, all right. You see how it goes that way, guys. You know, slowly by slowly. Look, I for one agree with Diane Abbott. I am going to fight for every breath, ladies and gentlemen. And like even when the Grim Reaper turns up, I'm gonna take his sight off him. I'm going to take the Grim Reaper's sight off him, and I'm going to say thank you very much, Grim. And I'm going to have potential melee with Grim. Mr. Free is over on YouTube. He's saying, remember, white coppers are soulless, emasculated sellouts, crippled by shame, and have to swallow non-white racist abuse. So they're vicious, placid whites to feel mainly to show a bit of fight. Careful. I don't know where you're going with that, Mr. Freeze, but I support you in saying it. Right, okay. So what? Right, okay. So what he said? Right, okay. Sorry, Mr. Freeze. I understand now. You're putting it in context to. Yeah, okay, I get it. So Mr. Freeze there is putting that in context to the police would be obliged to enforce these laws, no matter how draconian they are. And look, guys, tell me that's not happening. Tell me right now that there's not a real debate in Parliament about ending, you know, end of life, terminally ill patients going in a special machine, and then they don't come out of that special machine. Tell me that's not happening, and tell me that's not going to evolve into something more sinister. Nicola Lowe is saying it's not scaremongering. You can't fail to see it, and it feels the massive fence that has been put up around Parliament. The morgues for mass casualty event and the alert, the division. Yeah, you know, what's been happening recently in the world is only emphasizing it. It's only making things worse. It's only driving division. And you know what, guys? I'm gonna say what I think I'm gonna close this down on TikTok in a second, but I'm gonna leave with what I started, which is, before the last couple of days, I thought everybody was the same as me. They had their own opinions. They wanted to listen to other people's opinions, and they wanted to make their own mind up. And, you know, and everybody wanted to preserve life, and life is sacred, you know. But what I've seen over the last couple of days, like on the internet, you know, people being absolutely evil. And that's shown to me that not everybody is the same. You know, so maybe these divisional lines are real, and maybe these divisional lines just can't be bridged. Like, how do you bridge a gap with someone who doesn't want to listen to your opinion and doesn't care about your opinion? They just want to hurt you. How do you bridge that gap? Like, what do you say to them? You say, right, okay, I want to listen to you, but in response, will you listen to me? No, I want this. Listen to me. You can't deal with that, guys. You know, you can't. Right, listen, guys, I am going to jump over to YouTube now. I will be back on at 8. In fact, let me see if there's been any breaking news. Charlie Kirk latest FBI released video. Oh, 49 seconds ago. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, it's just the same. It's just the same video actually. Yeah, it's just the same video. Look, guys, we can see the direction we're heading to right now. You know, this is a bad sign. The Labour office that was burnt down. It's a bad sign of things to come. It's an easily understood. It's an easily understood social consequence. Yeah, I think that's right. It's an it's an easily understood social consequence of civil unrest, civil distrust in the government. You know, especially in the United Kingdom, we have got no excuse for this. Right here in the United Kingdom, guys, we have no excuse for letting this happen. Absolutely zero. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now on. I'm going to close this down now on TikTok. I'll be back at 8. If you're going to jump over to YouTube, I'll be continuing this stream on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube, on X, and of course on TikTok. And thankfully, I didn't get any restrictions. So I'll see you at 8, guys. Remember as well, it's Friday and crazy stuff happens on a Friday. We are, I think we are, yes, we are off, I believe we're off. Do I need to click any buttons? Maybe this one. Give me a second, guys. When I close the thing down, I have to click some buttons to make sure I was satisfied. No, we're good. We're good. No buttons today. No buttons today. Right, you lovely lot. Lisa Jane is saying, I was reading what people were writing on X and TikTok after Charlie was shot, and I was absolutely disgusted. It's crackers. You know, Lisa Jane, it's crackers. You know, I think you should, like, I was shocked. I didn't think those people existed. I understand that there's like a lot of Russian bot. Well, you know, there'll be a lot of near peer adversaries wanting to fan these flames. So, you know, I understand that. What I didn't expect to see was the amount of people doing videos, laughing and joking. I mean, a man. It was just sick. It was just sickening. It was just absolutely sickening. I welcome it, though. I think you should welcome it as well, Lisa, because you can see now what you're up against. You can see what you're up against. You know, and the only way I can describe it is, you know, absolute evil. So Mr. Freeze is saying Islamic hospital workers literally pray Islamic prayers over every one of your newborns in hospital. Is that really? Surely that's illegal. Watcher Harrison is saying separating the wheat from the chaff. Separating the wheat from the chaff. Oh, right. Okay. So I think what Watcher Harrison's saying there is, you know, watching these people online and seeing how the left have responded to this incident of, obviously, you know, Charlie Kirk is separating the wheat from the chaff. Courtney is saying, I think people over here might start copying what's happening in places like Nepal and Japan. Looks like it's already happening with this arson attack. Yeah. When I do these videos, and when I do these videos, and I say this is coming, or this is what this is going to lead to, it's not because I'm making it up, or I'm thinking, oh, this could happen, or oh, maybe this. It's because I've lived through it. You know, when I was in the military, when, you know, anyone who served in the military and went to Northern Ireland, you know, you do pre-deployment training. And as part of that pre-deployment training, you learn about historic events that have happened. Now, it's not, so I know with 100% certainty that the government knows how this happens because the government taught me how it happens. So, like, you have to come to your own conclusion on that. Now, you can go down a dark place or you can go down a silly place. It's, you know, but you can't say nobody can say that the government doesn't have access to the information that I have, because the information I have was given to me by the government. So, like, you can't say it's not there. You can't see these things coming. And like Courtney just said there, you know, the Labour office has just been burnt down. I think it's going to be the first of. I think there's clearly going to be more attacks. You know, and it's very difficult to stop. One of the things that's almost impossible to from the security forces, like one of the things that's almost impossible to mitigate against is these, like a lone wolf attack, for example. Like let's not use Charlie Kirk. Let's use this Labour office as an example. Now, as we know, a man in his 20s is being arrested on suspicion of arson and criminal damage. Now, if he didn't tell anybody what he was going to do, made no comments online, no suspicious activity, you know, if he just went to the shop, went to the garage, I don't know, bought some petrol, maybe a couple of jerry cans over the space of a couple of weeks, nobody's going to think twice about a man buying petrol from out on a proper jerry can, going, yeah, I broke down, love, sorry, yeah, no, run out of petrol, sorry, love, yeah. You know, nobody's going to think twice. And then if he then goes and burns down this Labour office, which he clearly has because it's out in the mainstream, nobody can stop that. Nobody. Where you can stop things is where people have got terror networks and they've got communications networks and they've got association networks and they're seen with these people, and then you can build up a pattern of life picture and you can associate that person spoke to that person and then he made a call to this person, so we know these guys are connected. You know, you can build that pattern up. You can't do it with a lone wolf, guys. You can't do it. Or if people are operating in 2s and 3s and they only ever have voice communication with each other, you can't do it. Impossible. So from a security point of view, if people are operating on their own, you know, it's very difficult. It's difficult to stop them. You know, catching them, you could argue it's the same. But yeah, we are actually seeing this now. And historically, you know, the British government has lots and lots of information of how this escalates. Carolina Ritchie. Oh, in fact, Watcher Harrison is saying spiritual warfare. I agree. Ultimately, this all boiled down. I think it's, you know, we're boiling down to like literal good versus evil. Carolina Ritchie, and look, maybe we're the bad guys. Maybe we're the bad guys, wanting everybody to have their say, wanting everybody to live in peace and harmony. Maybe we're wrong. I don't know. Carolina Ritchie is saying, I've never in my life witnessed the kind of evil and hatred as I did yesterday on the internet. I was genuinely shocked. Yeah, Carolina Ritchie, use that information that you've got now when you're making decisions. It was an eye-opener to me. I'll be honest with you. It was a massive eye-opener to me. I always thought that everybody was the same. Like, people would listen to other people. Nobody wanted to see people transcend into a beam of light. And I know this is just me. I know not everybody would want space exploration, but that's where I think we should be going as humanity. You know, I think we should stop these ridiculous wars on countries. I think we should focus all that time, money, effort, resources, and energy into building spaceships, and then we should go into the cosmos, and we can fight with the aliens. And I was genuinely shocked. Like, I can't, Carolina, use that and just hold that with you and think, right, these are the people we're protesting against. So I don't know. Maybe when these, what do they actually want? I want to know what they want. I really want to get further into their head. I want to find out. I want to say, right, why are you cheering that man's died? Oh, he said this and he said this. Okay, is it wrong? Is it wrong what he said? Oh, it's horrible. It's disgusting. Tell me what that person said that made you think, that made you happy. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. The Exile is saying they are very adept gaslighting gremlins online. I believe so. Will you be doing a protest live tomorrow? I will be, yes. I will be doing one, yes. I don't know what time I'll be on. I might just, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I might just put the live on and film it all, or it's going to be a long day. So I will be on at some point tomorrow talking about the protest. I don't know what time though. Sharon Owen is saying, my daughter is 15. She loves Charlie Kirk, came out of school yesterday upset because the kids were laughing and cheering about his death. Do you know what, Sharon? Tell her that you're happy she was upset about that, because that means that she's a good and decent human being. Lord of Language is saying, CCTV, mate, that's how they caught my next door neighbor. Oh, wow, okay. Right, okay. I wasn't expecting that coming in. Salmon Woodland is saying, good morning all, and I'm saying good morning to you. Salmon, you're right. You've come right at the last moment. You're going to have to skip back. Nicola Lowe, again, Love, sorry. I called you Nicola Lowe before. I do apologize. Listen, guys, I have this thing where I see a word and I think I see a word or a sentence and I'll just go. Nicola Love. Sorry, Nicola Love. He's saying, I'm sickened by the reactions. Yeah, me too. Charlie was yes, this is the thing. He was very respectful, absolutely respectful, always trying to find common ground. Absolutely. You know, if they couldn't agree on the core issues, he was not someone to vilify. I agree. You know, I agree 100%. He was talking to, I remember him talking, I remember seeing once, and he was talking to a man who had transitioned to a woman. And he was saying, right, okay, so I don't think you're a woman. And he was saying, well, you're being hateful. And he said, whoa, hang on a minute. So I'm being hateful because I don't think you're a woman. He said, yeah. He said, all right, okay. So you're forcing me to believe that you're something that I don't believe you're not. You know, and he was saying, like, clearly that's you being hateful towards me because you're forcing me to have a belief system that I don't have. And it was so well articulated. It was so well articulated, you know, it's a massive loss. Lisa Jane, Sean, the people will never talk about their beliefs, reference what they believe in, because it's all about likes and shares. The Exile is saying, hormone and injection doesn't make you a woman if you have a big old dangler. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I am going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic as always. I will be back on tonight at 8. Remember, it's the big protest tomorrow in London on the 13th. It's going to be wild, whatever happens. There are going to be wild scenes come from there. I hope everybody has a good time. And ultimately, guys, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, I hope everybody that goes down to that protest, I hope they all go home to their kids. Everybody, regardless what you believe in. I hope everybody goes home to their kids or family or and loved ones. I'm going to close this down now, guys. Just give me a second. Ian said that my boss just called you a Walter. I'm fuming. I told him to go and get his jabs. Right. I'm going to close this down now, guys. I'll be back on at 8. Any news out through the day, I will. Any news through the day, I'll probably use a TikTok chat. I am going to do a longer video. I'm going to do YouTube. Once I've done this now, I'll do a YouTube video on the identifying the Labour and what happened with the Labour constituency in the northeast, and I'll articulate myself a little bit more thoroughly, because when I'm doing the live streams, I'm answering the chat, so I'll share the post with you as well. But ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys later. I'll be on at 8, and if you've not done so already, please hit that subscribe button down below.